Welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real, metaphysical, and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week we're going to continue our series on the Goetic spirits with Buer, the 10th spirit of the Goetia. Let's go ahead and jump on in here, and by now you should be familiar with the format we've been using to do these videos. So, clearly, Buer, B-U-E-R, is the 10th spirit in the Goetia. In the Goetia, Buer is referred to as appearing as a Sagittary. Now, a lot of people automatically assume this means Sagittarius, the sign, or some meaning therein. Actually, if you look it up, Sagittary actually does have a few meanings of what a Sagittary is. And in this case, it is meaning centaur. And when I speak with many different practitioners and mages, this is actually the very form that they often see Buer in, is in a centaur-like form. Coloring patterns differ. The humanoid pattern differs quite a bit from person to person, I've noticed. But I actually think that has a lot to do with the nature of this spirit and the things it can help with. So I think it shifts in order to that general patterning and appearance to elicit and help aid you in the working that you're approaching it for. So remember that as we get into the reasons you could work with this spirit. Another meaning for Sagittarius could be archer. So there are people who view him as an archer, or some even see him as a centaur with a bow and arrow. And that can definitely be a meaning of the term Sagittarius. It is one of the meanings if you were to look the word up. And some people actually think this spirit can only be summoned when the sun is in Sagittarius from the zodiac. Though myself and many others have actually not found this to be the case, there are many people who do work with this spirit only when it's in the realm of Sagittarius. Which, speaking of, let's go ahead and get into those correspondences that we cover in every video. So first off, the rank of Buer is a president, okay? And as we've noticed, the presidents, metals and colors do tend to line up depending on their rank within the Goetia. So the metal most associated with Buer is Mercury. So here we have another spirit associated with Mercury. And yes, the planet associated with Buer is also Mercury. Color association is orange. And the element is fire. Now, with the basic correspondences covered, let's go ahead and throw up Buer's sigil here. Okay, that's Buer's sigil. You can easily find that on Google or some other place if you're looking for it, or you can try and sketch it before we go on. But moving on, the areas in which Buer is excellent in getting aid with and approaching the spirit for are both mental and emotional healing. Buer is fantastic in healing, especially mental and emotional style healing. And I know a lot of people who deal with stress, anxiety, depression. All these things are really great things that Buer can actually help in. And I have recommended him quite a bit, and I've even used him quite a bit in many situations. Buer can also aid in helping you to understand legal matters. Now, I think all of us have trouble here. Even if you know a certain legalese or how something is stated, you may not know the details of it or how it might affect you. Buer can help you understand that. If you are trapped in a legal matter, maybe entrapment's not the right word. If you're involved in a legal matter and you're having trouble understanding the proceedings, the paperwork, Buer can also help you with that, or help you to find someone who can help translate it for you to make it, to gain that understanding. He can also be very, very helpful in helping you to gain a wisdom and an understanding of a situation you may be getting ready to go into. I know a lot of people who use him to figure out the legal matters around a new business venture they may be starting up. Next up, this is one I love, but I know a lot of people don't like this one. Buer can help you understand an obsession or intense desire, so you can control and master that desire or obsession instead of it controlling you. Why do people not like this? Because people don't like to admit when they have an obsession or something, because obsession can easily lead to addiction. Addictions can be obsessions. And those are things that have power over us if we're not in control of them, if we do not understand them. And because of that, Buer is a fantastic individual to help with this. Buer is one of the entities that helped me realize I had a food addiction. I can't say it was an obsession or intense desire. Consciously would be the key. But I had become one of those people when I was stressed, depressed, or bored, I would eat. And that didn't do me good. When I was very, very active and running around 24/7, I never noticed it because I'm burning it all off. As I've gotten older, as things have slowed down, as I do more work in the office as opposed to running around, I did gain weight, and that did lead into helping me get out of shape, which I'm now trying to correct. And understanding the mental and emotional side of this, and understanding that obsession, that subconscious instinctual addiction, is one of the things that really helped me break that. And so Buer is very, very handy with that. And this can do with any form of addiction, emotional addiction, food addictions, drug addictions, it doesn't matter. He can help you understand that. Even if you're obsessed with love, there's a lot of people who get themselves in a lot of trouble because of their intense desire or obsession over finding love. That can be a very, very unhealthy obsession when it controls you. So Buer can be very, very helpful to anybody. And I would actually recommend any practitioner spends time with Buer to understand these desires and obsessions, because that is going to help you with your self-mastery. So I would highly recommend any practitioner take time to spend with Buer just on this one thing alone. Another one he's great at, and he helped me with early in my practice on, is he can help you calm your anger and help you to use wisdom and logic instead of anger. He is one of the people that helped me as a child. I had a lot of siblings, got picked on, so anger was pretty much a standard. And as I got older, I had to get a handle on that. I had to rein that in because I was in more of a environment where social, obligations were there. You couldn't just spout off as much as you could with your siblings. And I had to get a handle on my anger. Buer is actually one of the people who helped me do that and helped me to replace that anger with wisdom and logic. And too often, I think that's one of the big problems. If someone has anger issues, they approach the problem and they don't want to do it with anger. Fine, that's great, but they also don't know what to replace it with. Buer can help you not only harness that anger, get it under control, put it to the side, calm you down, but it can also allow you to proceed in dealing with whatever issues at hand with wisdom and logic. And of course, that brings us to the last one. Buer does actually teach logic and philosophy, which helps honestly with the last one, because not only being able to control your anger and replace it with those things is important, but one should actually seek to understand, study, and implement logic and philosophy in the entirety of their life. And they should continue to study these things. And understanding logic and how logic is a universal concept and can be applied across cultures and different entities is fascinating. But then you get into philosophy. How one's philosophy has shaped one's culture, one's environment, one's current standing, that in and of itself is extremely powerful. But perhaps the hardest part in understanding philosophy is truly understanding your philosophy. Now, I know a lot of people out there right now, it's like, Drake, I totally understand my philosophy. I know where I stand on any subject you ask me. Let's go. I know where I stand. Great. And I commend you for that. Any person should know where they stand on a particular topic. And if they don't, they need to take the time to sit down and figure it out, because that's a part of who you are. But what's also important to that is the ability to grow, to learn, to adapt, to change, and make alterations to your philosophy when necessary, when needed. A perfect example to this is if you're in a camping situation and you're preparing to go camping, you also have to prepare for unknown factors, whether it be rain, wind, loss of food supplies, whatever it may be. You have to be ready for an emergency. Well, how you prepare for that emergency, the philosophy behind that preparedness changes based on where you are. That doesn't mean this philosophy is wrong or this philosophy is wrong, but your location has changed and thus changed how you must proceed. Our philosophies in life often follow along this same principle, because as we change, as we grow, as we move, and as the world grows and changes around us, we may have to look at some things differently than we once did. And we may have to reevaluate. If you just dig your heels in, draw a hard line, many of the philosophical things we cling to, they become outdated and they become more harmful to us than useful. But at the same time, you don't want to become so flexible and so fluid that you don't stand for anything either. So there is a fine balance in there that Buer can help you understand. And I do recommend reading a lot of different books in philosophy and perhaps understanding them. And I would even recommend reading philosophies you disagree with and meditating on them. But don't read them to judge them, right? Read them to understand. Read them to try and see a point of view. And perhaps even ask, could you learn something from this point of view that you could use, that could help you be a better person? I think far too often these days we actually read to either with a preconceived conclusion, or we just read so that we can respond and attack and bash without taking the time to actually genuinely listen, process, and perhaps even try to apply what we are hearing or reading. And if you're actually going to step in and try and understand philosophy, you can't go in with that preconceived notion. You have to truly try to understand the viewpoint and the rationality and the reasons behind what you're reading. I know I said that last one was the last one, but I did actually forget one. And I think this is one a lot of practitioners could probably use, especially when starting out. Buer can help you to understand and know when and when not to use magic to affect a situation. It is very easy when you study magic to just throw magic in there to try and adjust the situation to your favor and to get involved. Or to, oh, look, your friend's having a bad day. I'm going to use magic to fix it. Magic's not always the answer. In fact, sometimes it's actually the worst thing you can do. Many things in life do give us bad days, but those bad days are part of a challenge for us to overcome. It's something to help us grow. It's something that whether you want to call them spirit guides, our ancestors, your deity, whatever's putting you through. And if someone else tries to overcome that obstacle or that challenge for you, yeah, they might make your day better, but you can bet you're going to come right back around to it, double up on it. You're going to get a double scoop of it next time, just in case they interfere again. So we as practitioners have to understand that the world is not ours to fix. A lot of problems out there are there for a reason, and we have to understand that balance. And we do have to let some things play themselves out. Other things we can work on. We can attempt to help manifest. Perhaps if the person approaches us, fine if the person approaches you. But don't just go stepping out and doing it just willy-nilly. There is a time and a place, and there's also a time and a place to not do magic. And Buer can help you to truly understand those. Now, many of you have enjoyed the fact that we have been putting the uns in these videos, and we will continue that. So, let's go ahead and give this one for Buer a try. This one is one that I get tongue-tied on it occasionally, so we'll see if I can get this through. And we will have it up on the screen, so you don't just have to deal with my pronunciation of it. Erato on ka Buer enan. Erato on ka Buer enan. Erato on ka Buer enan. I will say I've had success with this one. I've relatively enjoyed it when I'm not getting tripped up on it. For some reason, this is one of the ones where I told you I usually do a lot of my chanting very low. This one I actually tend to get tongue-tied up on more when I do it low as opposed to when I enunciate it louder. I don't know why that is, but this is one that I tend to get better results out of when I do it louder, where normally I get better results if I do it more to myself in more of a whisper or something. Now, of course, everybody always asks, and we have been finishing the videos with it, what are my personal experiences with the entity? Over the years, I've enjoyed working with Buer. He is one of the entities, like I said, that helped me deal a lot with my emotional baggage in my past. And believe me, there was a lot of it there. As well as one of the entities that helped me deal with some of my anger from the past. And he has been really, really good in helping me in areas of logic and processing that I did have issues in. And when it comes to my emotions, he definitely stands within the top 4 of the entities that I've worked with over the years to understand emotions, to process emotions, healing from a lot of trauma in the past. He is also one of the entities who is very, very quick to remind me of the millions of different viewpoints and philosophies out there, and to try and view things through as many possible lenses as I can to find my best functional truth. And he's also quick to remind me that truth must be functional and yield results, or it is not a real truth. Him and I argued that one early on in my path quite a bit, from a spiritual standpoint, more than anything, I believe. Because a lot of people, on a spiritual standpoint, you just have to believe it and that's your truth. But if it's not functional, if it's not yielding results, if it's not doing what it's supposed to do, then in Buer's perspective, that's not a truth, that is a belief. And a belief and a truth are not the same thing. And him and I went round and round on that one quite a bit for a while. But I have to say, over the years, I've come to see what he means and understand the difference. But instead of going into an entire rant on what he means by that and how I've come to view it, I think instead I'll let you go to Buer and talk to him specifically and allow him to teach you what he means by that statement. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. We release a new video every Tuesday here on the channel. We also do live streams on Friday and Saturday, so make sure you turn on the notifications so you're notified anytime we release a new video or we do a live stream. If you'd like to support the channel, we do now offer channel memberships with 3 different tiers, different perks in every tier. And your all support is definitely appreciated. You definitely make sure that we can continue to give this information and get more information out to all the seekers. I would also encourage any of you out there who are thinking about it to definitely reach out. Use this information and contact Buer. Check out our other videos on summoning an entity or contacting an entity if you need assistance in that as well. And until next time, I'm Drake, and this has been Working Dragon Mystic. Take care. Bye-bye.